Today we're going to be going over some fragrances that I wear to stand out, and the best part is they work pretty much every time. Each one of these has kind of a head-turning unique factor about them, which really helps you to get noticed and stand out, especially when you're surrounded by a lot of much more familiar smelling things. There's nothing wrong with that. You guys know I love my blue fragrances and, you know, the Sauvage variants and all of that stuff, which is very common, but sometimes you just want to take it to the next level, and that's what these do. So I'm going to drop links to everything I talk about today down below. There are some coupon codes down below as well. Save you some money if you're wanting to do some shopping. We've got one for Vinba Fragrance, Perfume Box, Joma Shop, and all of that good stuff down in the description. We're going to get things kicked off with Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Green Stravaganza. Quite the name on this one here. You could easily just call it Green Stravaganza, and I think most people would probably know what you're talking about, but you know, we might as well introduce it properly. This one has coffee, vetiver, and bergamot, and I believe that's all they really give us. So a pretty minimalistic note breakdown, and that's cool. That's very common. One thing that surprised me, though, was how much coffee you actually pick up on. Now, I would be lying if I said that that wasn't the reason I was looking forward to this one, because it was. Even though I was kind of maybe a bit doubtful, I thought, you know what, we're going to give it a shot anyway, and I picked it up and pleasantly surprised on just how much of that note you get, which doesn't seem like it would fit in or work all that well with this Born in Roma series, but it actually works really well. So it still does tie back to Born in Roma Intense, those fragrances, but with a nice coffee twist to give it a little bit of a warm, kind of slightly gourmand aspect that wasn't really prominent in that type of way in any of the others. Just a really nice roasted coffee note mixing with some of the fresher aromatic accords. Again, it doesn't seem like something that would make a whole lot of sense, but it blends together very nicely here. And the nice thing about that is it does help it to stand out and smell different. You know, this doesn't really smell a whole lot like anything else in my collection aside from comparisons to the Born in Roma series, but with enough of a twist to where it's not really overly redundant to me. This is a great way to stand out, one that you can pick up for just under $100, I believe, and I do really enjoy it. This next one is Issey Miyake Nuit d'Issey Parfum. So kind of, I think it's technically discontinued, but it's been in stock on discounters for quite a while now, and so if you haven't gotten yours yet, I would just probably do it sooner rather than later. But, you know, Issey Miyake, and especially within this lineup, they have created some amazing fragrances. So good that you wouldn't really think that they're coming from this brand, because when you think of the brand and you think of L'Eau d'Issey and a few of those, which nothing wrong with them, but maybe they're not the most unique, challenging scents out there, a lot of people have a tendency to write off the brand or maybe the line in its entirety, and I don't want you to do that. This one has leather, tonka bean, patchouli, vanilla. It's smoky, resinous, rich, masculine, woody, leathery. It smells great. It has this mysterious kind of aspect to it, which just really helps tie into the theme of this video, which is just having things that turn heads without fail, having things that smell different enough to really capture the attention of people as they walk by or whatever the case is. And I found that this one has consistently done that. And this is not the only one. They have a few others discontinued, but have done a similar thing over the years. Issey Miyake Polaris, Noir Ombre, or Incense, and maybe one or two more that I'm missing off the top of my head that are just amazing, incredible fragrances. But again, as is how our luck usually goes here in the community, some of the best ones end up getting discontinued. Again, I would grab a bottle of this before it's gone for good, because man, this one is worth having. I think usually it's around $60. This next one is a favorite of mine, and I've talked about it quite often, and even now, every time I smell this one, I like it more. And it's kind of like, man, how much more can I like it? Because I already think so highly of it. It just keeps, you know, it just keeps happening. I don't know what to say. It's L'Homme Eau de Parfum by YSL. You know, it makes a lot of sense. The original L'Homme is this kind of apple, ginger, lavender, fresh smelling gentleman scent, which is predominantly used for daytime wear, work, school, whatever, you know, casual, but also has a little bit of a formal gentleman aspect to it. So it can kind of go both ways. Always been an amazing scent, been around for a very long time. The Eau de Parfum version, it's as simple as taking that DNA, making it a bit sweeter for nighttime use, evenings out, even date nights. This one has cognac, bitter orange, oak, and cedar wood, so more focus on woods here, and a nice boozy accord, which was not there in the original, and just gives it that illusion of a night out, kind of warm, seductive, mysterious smell. A little bit of a fresh, bright, bitter orange off the opening, but that's not really the star of the show. That part does dissipate pretty quickly as you start to get into the woods and everything else. And it's really one of those deals where if you have the original L'Homme, this is such a complimentary scent to go along with it. You wear the original during the day to work, and then in the evening, if you're going out afterwards, spray this on over top. They layer perfectly, and now you have something that works for that environment more so. It's not like a performance beast, really. I mean, it's better performing than the original, but it's not a monster scent by today's standards. However, it still is a big head turner. Just do a few extra sprays than maybe you normally would with a lot of newer scents these days that are just so strong to begin with, and you're going to get great results out of this one. Hey, if you want to spend a little bit more money, you want to get into some niche, I mean, the possibilities are literally endless, and this video could have been chock full of niche. Obviously, I don't really do that. You know, I want to keep things as affordable as it can be, especially where it seems like that's getting harder and harder with designers. But I did throw in a couple niche fragrances in this video. This first one is going to be the more mass-pleasing of the two. We'll go with that. It's Roja Elysium. This is the Eau Intense version. Very well aware that the original Elysium at this point is pretty popular. You know, is every guy just outside of the community going around wearing that one? I would say probably not. I mean, you know, things that smell similar to it, sure, and maybe some clones here and there, but it's not to like the Bleu de Chanel or Sauvage level. But within the community, it definitely is a popular one. Okay, this one has grapefruit, lime, rhubarb, vetiver, black currant, and a ton more. I couldn't even remember those, so I had to cheat there, but the note breakdown on this one is huge. Same with regular Elysium, and same with Elysium Noir, which I haven't bought yet, but I'm probably going to. That one has, it looks like a blackberry accord as one of the main notes, and it looks really, really good. I'm really excited to try that one. I hope it's good. But anyway, Elysium Eau Intense is kind of my choice, giving you a bit of a different twist, a slightly brighter, fresher, more summer-oriented twist. And the frosted glass bottle tells you everything you need to know, okay? Don't get hung up with Eau Intense because it's not like majorly more intense, which again, kind of weird, but frosted glass, that tells you what you need to know. It's a fresher, more cooling, more summer-oriented take on the DNA. Still getting all of that vetiver and all of the fruits and citrus that you would come to expect from Elysium, but I find this one to be just a bit lighter. Doesn't have some of that woody sweetness to the extent that regular Elysium does, especially in the dry down. And man, that opening is just so good, so refreshing, so powerful. This is a head turner from start to finish. This next one is Spicebomb Extreme by Victor and Rolf, coming in at a 90 ml bottle. Doesn't need much of an introduction at this point in time. It's got the tobacco, the vanilla, the black pepper, spicy, smoky, rich, but then a nice, smooth, creamy, sweet vanilla to start to introduce some balance. As we know, regular Spicebomb, probably not what you would consider to be much of a balanced scent. It's basically peppers and spices from start to finish, with that tobacco, of course, as well. But it is, I mean, there's no escaping Spicebomb. It is just powerful and potent from you know, the very second you first spray it on, and doesn't really offer a whole lot to go against that. Spicebomb Extreme, on the other hand, does a little bit. Still spicy, would make sense given the name, but at least is giving you a bit of a smoother, creamier dry down, and as crazy as it sounds, this could be a decent choice for like an evening date night scent, you know. It's not one that I would go and spray heavily, because it's just, then you're going to start introducing too much spice and it's going to get too much. But man, just a couple light sprays, especially like under your sweater or your hoodie or whatever, just to kind of dampen it a little bit. You know, catching that dry down of this one, it really is something that smells great and would be perfect for a situation like that. But you can bump up the sprays and wear it out and about and turn heads all over the place in public settings too. So you can kind of go both ways with it. Just adjust your sprays accordingly. But this is a big head turner, has been for a long time, will continue to be. And at this point, prices have started to work their way down. It used to be up over $100 everywhere for the longest time, which for a 90 ml, you know, not even a straight concentration, that was always a little bit on the pricier side, at least at one point, right? That's kind of more the normal now. But at this point, this one has worked down to sometimes $90, $80, even $75. So really, really reasonable at this point, comparatively speaking. Gonna start to run down to the end with Varvatos Oud. Another discontinued one that you can get anywhere, really. Joe Machot, FragranceNet, Fragrance X, Fragrance Buy, I believe, at one point. Basically, all the discounters were stocking this one again, and this is at least what I believe to have been discontinued, and then I guess they just found a bunch of it. I don't really know. Very, very skeptical that Varvatos would have brought this, of all things, back, because they had some other things that were probably a little bit more popular, Dark Rebel Rider, that I would have preferred to have seen them brought those back if they were bringing back anything. But again, I don't think that's the case. I think they just found a bunch of this somewhere, which is so weird how that happens. This one has incense, myrrh, tobacco, oud, and a ton of other notes. Go look up this one too. I'm telling you, they have a ton. This is what it was all about, and I miss the days when they were doing stuff like this with note breakdowns that big. As ridiculous as it looks, and you know that you're probably not picking up on half of that stuff, you're only focusing in on a select few. I just kind of chose the ones that I pick out the most of. It's still cool to see all of that stuff. Maybe it's overwhelming to the consumer these days, you know, not so much the fragrance enthusiast, but just the regular guy. So maybe that's why they've cut back significantly on the note breakdowns, but that's just my theory. Another one that's sweet, resinous, smoky, spicy, and warm with just a nice mild oud. Nothing crazy here. This is a very, very entry-level wearable oud scent. You know, something along the lines of a Versace Pour Homme Oud Noir or Gucci Intense Oud, just light, wearable, enough to where you can pick up on it and it's there, but not to the point where it's completely overbearing either. Definitely a big head turner, for better or for worse, definitely mostly for better. Will you run into somebody here and there who doesn't really like how this smells? I'm sure you would. You probably would with, I don't know, maybe a few of these. Kind of, at least in my opinion, when you want to really try to get the most memorable reactions from people as far as how they perceive your scent, sometimes you kind of have to push the boundaries a little bit and go for something that's just a little bit more out there. And again, these are all still very conservative. We're not getting into anything crazy. They're just, again, a step or two ahead of a Bleu de Chanel. And we're going to finish this video off with that last niche fragrance here. It is Kilian Intoxicated. When it comes down to boozy gourmands, and really probably just gourmands in general for me, Kilian is the brand that I go for first. It's one of my favorite niche brands that I started off enjoying, but I kind of got hooked. You know, each time I would try something new, whether it be sample or blind buy, I also ended up loving it, and it was just a snowball effect. I wanted to see how far I could go, and I've rearranged my wall back here, but those are all my Kilians, and as you can see, and they're stacked like 2 or 3 rows deep, some of them too. So if it doesn't look like there's a lot, there's more there than what you would think, but I really like the brand. And there's so many I could have gone for. Any of the Straight to Heavens, of which I have all of them, Extreme and the Oud Musk Special Blend, and there's Black Phantom, and there's, Single Malt, Apple Brandy, Sacred Wood. I mean, just really about anything I could choose from the brand and have it be a good fit for this video. A head turner that just really gets people's attention. This one has coffee, cardamom, nutmeg, and cinnamon. Very, very warm, spicy, and kind of oriental leaning from a ton of cardamom and a ton of coffee. It's a really, really cool mixture. I've worn this one quite often, usually consecutively. It's one of those deals where I wear it one day and I enjoy it so much. The next morning rolls around and I'm having my morning coffee and I'm trying to figure out what I want to wear. I just go for this one again. I kind of get hooked on it. I love Kilian Intoxicated. Definitely a big head turner. Again, different to some extent. And maybe out of this entire video, this one might be the one that is the most out there. So maybe you like that, maybe you don't. You can decide for yourself and go from there. But I think, hey, if you want something that is just a real nice, warm, spicy coffee scent that will turn heads and just has a nice cozy smell for fall and winter time, I would check this one out. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some fragrances that I wear whenever I want to turn heads and you know, they always seem to work. Links to every one of these will be down below. Again, there's some coupon codes if you want to do some shopping and save some money as well. Vimba Fragrance is going to be one of the best places to go for a lot of niche, really, because some of their prices are just unbeatable. Joma Shop, hard to beat them these days. FragranceNet, Fragrance Buy, Frag Flex, all of that stuff. There's codes down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.